Good evening. Welcome to another class session from Professor 219. You don't need to know my real name. This is a class in how to survive as a conservative in today's messed up America. A new poll has revealed how many Americans regret taking the COVID vaccine and how many have a new medical condition after taking the vaccine. I refuse to call it a vaccine. It's an experimental product. They had to redefine the word vaccine to accommodate it. They had to redefine the rules of new drugs to accommodate it. Okay? Wait till the entire truth comes out. It's going to be a lot larger than 10%. Okay? Let me help you with this. There are athletes around the world collapsing on the playing field. Hundreds of them have died. These people are by definition in excellent physical condition. But nobody mentions their vaccination status. Or should I say experimental product status. Okay? Here's another thing. You know, Elon Musk has sold billions of dollars in Tesla stock this week. I wouldn't have been surprised if it was, Twitter stock. Maybe his bid to buy Twitter was just a ploy to get the stock price up so that he could make more money. Elon Musk is all about making more money. Okay? But then I started drilling a little bit deeper into it. Last week, the Senate, by a 50-50 party line vote, with Kamala Harris breaking the tie, passed what's called the Inflation Reduction Act. Of course, that's a misnomer. Every bill the Democrats sponsor is named with a misnomer. Okay? Even left-wing economists agree that it's going to do very little or nothing to control or reverse inflation. What it really is a grab bag of goodies for everybody who votes Democrat. Okay? It's allegedly an environmental bill. It offers a $7,000 credit right on the spot at the dealership when you buy a brand new electric vehicle. It's $7,500. It's $4,000 if you buy a used one. Now I wonder if I could buy a golf cart, a brand new one, and get a $7,000 credit. It would pretty much be free, wouldn't it? So, what they did, however, was they specifically excluded all luxury vehicles, which is essentially Tesla's entire product line. This is a targeted bill deliberately designed to drive Tesla out of business. Everybody who wants to buy an electric car is going to buy a cheaper one. Okay? And I think it's punishment for Elon Musk for having the cojones to threaten to buy Twitter. Okay? Because then he'd be reopening Donald Trump's Twitter account. All right? Let's move on to something else. You can always tell when a Democrat loses the support of their propaganda machine. Either they start giggling and cackling like Kamala and start very, very gently, very subtly casting around for a replacement, as they're doing now with Joe Biden, or they laugh out loud, demand his immediate resignation, start supporting an impeachment and removal from office, and start very actively, very openly interviewing their preferred Democratic replacement, like they did with Rod Blagojevich, our former governor of Illinois, who went to prison for soliciting bribes. If Pfizer and Moderna lose their propaganda machine, Pfizer and Moderna have lost the war. Just like Nazi Germany lost the war when they lost the Battle of Normandy. Their vulnerable butts were exposed. Almost all of their war effort had been pointed 180 degrees in the opposite direction against the Russians. Think of an ancient Greek phalangist, okay? He went into battle with his short sword, his shield, spear, helmet, breastplate, greaves. For those of you who don't understand, that's a steel plate designed to protect the front of your legs, not the back, okay? Sandals, and a kind of a loincloth thong type thing, okay? A phalangist relied on his fellow phalangists to protect his butt. When they were gone, he was gone. Understand? This is why I say when the Democrats or Pfizer and Moderna lose their propaganda machine, they have lost the war. Okay? Wait till the vax advocates lose their propaganda machine. You'll see that percentage of people who regret taking the vax rise to 50% or higher. Okay? Let's move on to something else. Have you noticed that 5 or 6 hot doctors died of strange medical phenomena that were unknown just a year ago? Have you noticed that 5 or 6 doctors at a hospital in Mississippi died of the same unknown medical phenomena? Here's a hint. They were all receiving the experimental product. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been practicing medicine. Right? You know, I promise I'm not going to talk about the LGBT community tonight. Okay? I really got to... Yeah, let's talk some more about that $800 billion so-called Inflation Reduction Act. They're also hiring 87,000 new IRS agents because they're raising the corporate tax to 50%. One of the main reasons why many companies choose to locate in the United States is because we have a reasonably low corporate tax, about 34%. It's right in line with most of the rest of the industrialized world. And America does 50% of the entire discretionary spending of the world. Okay, let me define in discretionary spending for you. If you need a pair of shoes, and a $5 pair of shoes from Goodwill would be sufficient, but you go out and buy a $50 pair of shoes, you've just done $45 worth of discretionary spending. You spent that extra $45 because you wanted to, not because you needed to. All right? The United States still, after all this growth in the rest of the world, still does 50% of the world's discretionary spending. So, with a low tax rate and a whole lot of discretionary spending, this is the place to start a new business. Until now. Now, the corporate tax rate is 50%. Wow. The Democrats are really gambling big with this. I mean, how long is it going to take for blacks and Latinos and working class white people to realize that this is going to destroy them? You know, either the Democrats are geniuses or they're incredibly stupid. And my vote is for the latter. All right? Then we have the feel-good story of the year. The woke are eating their own young. There's a coffee shop in West Philadelphia called Mina's World. It billed itself as the first TQPOC owned coffee shop. To those of you who don't understand the lingo, that's trans queer person of color. I promised I wouldn't talk about LGBTQ, but this is not really so much about them, it's about the woke in general. The woke are now eating their own young. Okay, a bunch of their workers went online to complain about low pay, stealing wages, crappy working conditions, and now they're shut down. Wow. How fast can karma strike a small business owner? Let's move on. Heroism. What is heroism? What does heroism mean to you? I think a lot more people than you realize demonstrate some small degree of heroism. Okay? Heroism is rooted in the fact that some people, rather than taking other people's lives, rather than running away and leaving those in danger alone to suffer, they offer up their own lives, their own resources to save those people. Heroism is rooted in self-sacrifice, or the willingness to sacrifice yourself, even to the point of death, so that others can live free and without fear. Now think about that definition and tell me about some of your heroes. Wow, we've got 3 whole minutes left. Let's talk about something else. How about cars? Let's circle back, as Jen Psaki would have said, to those electric cars. Does anybody realize what a disaster those are economically and environmentally? First, we're going to need about 30 times as much battery storage capacity. That's not going to happen for 30 years. Because we need that much juice to charge up that many cars. Second, we're going to need to quadruple the capacity of the entire electrical grid, because everybody is going to be charging their cars overnight. Nobody's going to want to charge their cars during the day. That's when they're using their cars. Okay? Your typical one-block electric grid, residential, will support the recharging of 3 electric vehicles simultaneously. The 4th one is going to cause a blackout, just like they have in California on a regular basis. Why do you suppose California has blackouts? Why do you suppose they have brownouts? Too much drain on their power sources. Okay, rebuilding the entire electric grid, regardless of the cost, is going to take 30 years. Just like building that many battery farms. All right? So-called renewable energy, wind and solar. The wind power goes away when the wind stops. The solar power goes away when the sun stops. So at night, or on a cloudy day with no wind, nobody to the left of Nelson Rockefeller is going to have any electric power. So how are we supposed to charge all those vehicles? That's about it for now. Be sure to give me a thumbs up if you like this video. Comment in the space below. I'll try to reply. And tell me about your heroes. Tell me what defines the word heroism to you. Have a great evening.